Alright, so damage boosting, it would look kind of like that. So this is where I'm going to start talking about damage boosting. Yeah, damage boosting is a bit more complex than people think. Well, as if it wasn't complex enough. So I changed this room up a little bit. So give myself some extra health. So there are four major types of damage boosts, or knockback. Four different types of knockbacks, and there's two more in the ball form. So watch closely. That's one. That's two. 3, 4, and then ball, and then ball looking to the right. So that's 6. So how damage boosting works is that you need to take some kind of knockback damage. So spikes are the easiest ones to perform a damage boost on, because spikes do 10 frames of knockback damage. So that's a very long time. Like, look how late this damage boost is. Like, that's pretty far away. Yeah, that was like really far. Enemies like these little jellies. Enemies do 4 frames of knockback damage, so it's a lot shorter. And enemy projectiles do 5 frames, so it's slightly more lenient. So to do a damage boost, you want to take knockback damage, and you want to be holding jump. So hold jump, and then during the knockback you want to press back. So if I'm facing left, back would be right. So knockback, hold right, hold jump and right. Don't turn around, don't press back too early or it'll look like that. Or you might KO if you want to, like an enemy like this. Like you'll just like go right through them instead of damage boosting. So when you take damage from some kind of damage source, so I'll just say spikes, because they're the easiest to deal with. If you land on something, and you don't hold forward, you can see like how Samus is like getting pushed backwards, like back and up, like back and up every single time. That's one kind of knockback you take. And the other kind would be like if you hold forward, you can see like how Samus is like getting like pushed backwards. So if you look at it, it's technically like kind of like backwards. Like look again, it's like that. Like that's pretty far down. And that's only if you hold forward. Like if you do not hold forward, you get pushed upwards, so like that. So that's something to keep in mind, and we're going to use that later on. So yeah, some places you can do like a slightly higher deboost to cover like, or to like raise up a little bit more, but like performing the damage boost like late in the later frames is supposed to like instantly. Like see if I did it instantly versus doing it later. You can see how Samus raises a little bit. So that's I believe that's about it for damage boosting. I do have a spike suit tutorial if you want to do that. It's long and complicated. Well, not that long, to be honest, but it's more in depth. So check that out if you're interested. So, for these, for this damage boost, like, let's say you want to keep going to the left. You want to like turn around so your back is facing the direction you want to go to. So you want to, let's say you're coming in from the right, you want to jump, turn around, and then deboost backwards. And keep in mind that when you spin jump, turning around is instant, as opposed to like not spinning. It takes time, like 8 frames, to turn around and then damage boost. But also remember that when Samus is in a spin jump, her hitbox is smaller, as opposed to like not spinning, which the hitbox is bigger than that. So it does come down to preference. Suppose that's it. Just remember to like hold A and back when you want to do the damage boost, as long as you do it within the knockback frames. So remember 10 for spikes, 4 for enemies, 5 for projectiles, and 60 frames in 1 second. So it gives you a kind of a decent idea of how much of a window you got to work with. If you miss it, or if you're doing new routes where you would do this like suitless, I would highly recommend doing these like mini deboosts, so you could take only 2 hits instead of 3. So I'll tell you how the mini deboosts work. I modified this room a little bit. Alright, so remember these? Well, much to your surprise and mine, these are not spikes. These are just like air blocks. Now, these blocks down here are the actual spikes. Now that's like pretty surprising, I didn't know about that. So here's how the mini deboosts work. Remember how I was telling you about like the 4 different like knockback types or damage boosts? Well, this is a different one where you hold forward and you like, you know how I was telling you if you hold forward you get pushed back and left? Like, if I can like show that right, back and left. So you want to be pushed back and left, like towards the right. So you want to like be facing the left, so you get pushed like more to the right. So it looks like this. Yeah, you want that kind of knockback. And then since it's a spike, you get 10 frames of knockback. So you hold jump, take the knockback, and then hold right, and you get like that tiny deboost. So face the opposite direction you want to go, hold forward, take the backwards knockback, and then press back. If I can only do it right. Not that. was not even holding jump? I'm pretty sure I was. I would say this is very essential if you want to do new route. It does look very deceiving because these are not actual spikes. Now if you take the wrong kind of knockback damage where you do not hold forward, it would look like that, and you do not want that if you're like playing a new route. You need to like turn around, hold forward, and then press hold jump and back to get that mini D boost. Now, let's say you did not get the full halfie or a halfie, so now you need backup strats. So you need to go down here. Let's say it's like a specific setup, sort of. Maybe, I don't know. So just, you want to utilize all this running space. But not hit the spikes. So you can utilize, like, you know, most of that space, but don't use all of it or you might hit the spikes. Like, use part of it. Or if you want to, you can use all of it and morph. Because remember, morphing will always send you upwards if you take knockback damage. So do that if you want. Next, you want to go up here. Again, utilize all this running space, and you're going, well, actually not all of it, like most of it, and you're gonna like jump and morph like that. Now the morphing is important because of the knockback damage. It puts Samus upwards, so it's a lot easier to control. And you can position Samus in like such a way to like utilize that single tile of running space. Like that. I believe aiming down would work. But I guess aiming down is kind of weird because Samus gets pushed like further back. So for this one, you want to get up here, and you want to use all the running space you can. Turn around, like on top of the spikes, and do one of the later deboosts. So remember, do not hold forward, or else you're going to get something that looks like this. You want to like not hold forward, so you get pushed upwards, and you're going to use this upward knockback to give you a big deboost. So that crosses the gap. So if you did not, if you held forward, it's gonna look like this. You're never gonna make it up there. You need to like take an upwards knockback damage. And then use those iframes and run across those spikes, and utilize as much running space as you can. The Metroids can drop a super if you need it. In case anybody needs like to be reminded, I changed this room up. You know, if you hold forward, you get pushed like down back. Like that. If you hold forward, you get pushed down back. If you do not hold forward, you get pushed up and back, like very far up. If you hold jump during that, you can do like a big deboost, which takes advantage of the upper like knockback damage. And if you hold forward and do a deboost, it would look like that. So definitely keep that in mind when you're like trying to go through this. And also like taking spike damage as a ball like gets you put like almost directly upwards. So keep that in mind if you're like trying to do a backup strat.